Welcome to our channel. This is a space for the spiritually hungry, a place where we go beyond surface-level faith to uncover the deeper meaning behind God's ways. Today, we're talking about something many of us have faced but few understand: why God allows delay even after you're ready. It's that confusing season when you've prayed, prepared, and positioned yourself, yet the answer hasn't come. You're not in rebellion, you're not unprepared, and still, the doors stay shut. If this is where you are right now, this message is for the part of you that is faithful but frustrated, hopeful yet hurting, still waiting on a God who promised but hasn't yet delivered. If you feel blessed by this after listening and you'd like to go deeper, consider joining as a member. You'll get early access to meditations, exclusive spiritual resets, and guides to help you stay disciplined on your journey. There are moments in life when you've done everything you know to do. You've prayed, you've prepared, you've aligned yourself with God's instructions, and you can almost feel it in your bones. It's time, but nothing moves. Doors that seem certain remain closed. Opportunities pass you by, and the silence of heaven stretches longer than you thought you could endure. It's a strange kind of pain, not the ache of being unprepared, but the ache of being ready, and yet, God does not release you. For many, this season becomes a battlefield of confusion. You begin to question yourself. Did I hear wrong? Am I missing something? Is God displeased with me? And sometimes the most haunting question of all: if I'm ready, why am I still here? Friend, the truth is, readiness in your eyes is not the same as readiness in God's. And if you can understand why God delays even after you think you're ready, you will find peace in places where others only find frustration. One of the first truths you must grasp is that God's timing is not measured by the clock on your wall, but by the clock of eternity. You measure readiness by your level of skill, preparation, or willingness. God measures readiness by the alignment of countless factors. Some you can see, most you cannot. There are doors that look ready for you now, but inside those rooms are storms that would have broken you if you entered too early. There are relationships that seem harmless now, but 6 months from now, they would have become snares to your soul. There are platforms that glitter under the lights, but hidden in the shadows are pressures you have not yet been equipped to bear. You think delay is God withholding from you, but often delay is God shielding you from what you cannot yet see. The danger is that in the waiting, you may mistake His protection for rejection. And when you do not understand His not yet, it's easy to believe it means not ever. But here's the mystery. Sometimes the delay isn't because the blessing isn't ready for you. It's because God is making sure you are ready for the blessing. If you look closely at the scriptures, you'll notice something. No one God truly used stepped into their calling the moment they felt ready. Joseph had the dream as a teenager, a vision of leadership, of influence, of divine favor. But between the dream and the throne, there were years of betrayal, slavery, and prison. Why? Because God was not only preparing the position for Joseph, He was preparing Joseph for the position. David was anointed king while still a shepherd boy. The oil ran down his head, but the crown did not touch it for years. Between the pasture and the palace, there was a wilderness of hiding, running, and being hunted like prey. Why? Because God was shaping a king's heart in a shepherd's solitude. Even Jesus, the Son of God, lived 30 quiet years before 3 years of public ministry. If anyone could have skipped the waiting, it was Him. But even He submitted to the slow rhythm of divine timing. These stories whisper to you and me. God's delay is not a denial. It is the sacred space where He shapes vessels that will not break under the weight of glory. Sometimes the delay is the miracle, because if you arrive too soon, you may confuse God's gift for your own achievement. You may step onto the stage of your calling without the inner structure to hold it, and what was meant to be a blessing could crush you. The delay teaches you what speed cannot. It teaches endurance. It teaches dependence. It strips you of illusions about your own strength and plants you deep in the soil of trust. If you're listening to this, chances are you've felt the ache of readiness. You've prepared. You've prayed. You've done the work in secret. And still, nothing has shifted. You've told God, I'm ready, I can handle it now. Why won't you just release it? And yet the doors remain shut. Here's the truth you might not want to hear, and yet It might be the very truth that keeps you standing. God does not measure readiness the way you do. You look at your skills, your knowledge, your passion. He looks at your posture, your surrender, your motives. You see the progress you've made on the outside. He sees the cracks still healing on the inside. You want the appointment. He wants the alignment. Sometimes, God will hold you in a season that feels beneath you, not because He's punishing you, but because He is purifying you. And He will not rush the process, because premature promotion is a form of destruction. If you only knew the weight of what He's building you for, you would thank Him for every extra day, month, or year of preparation. Because once it comes, there will be no time to become. You will already need to be. Waiting seasons are not just about time passing. They are about God doing an invisible work in the unseen parts of you. Work that cannot be posted, cannot be applauded, cannot be measured by human eyes. And that is where the danger comes, because invisible work can feel like no work. It can feel like neglect. It can feel like God has forgotten you. But the truth? You are not being forgotten. You are being fortified. In delay, God removes the weeds of pride before they can choke your calling. He tears down false dependencies, so your faith is not in platforms or people, but in Him alone. He teaches you to move in silence, to obey without proof, to worship without reward. Because the stage He's preparing for you will require a heart that can stand both the spotlight and the shadow. Sometimes the delay is not about you catching up to the promise. It's about the promise being guarded until the appointed time. Think about it. If Joseph had been released from prison the moment he felt ready, he would have stepped into a palace still under the grip of famine. If David had been crowned the day he killed Goliath, he would have inherited a kingdom still overrun by Saul's chaos. If Jesus had started His ministry at 12, when He was already teaching in the temple, He would have done it without the chosen 12 by His side. The delay was not rejection, it was protection. Sometimes the people who need to receive you are not yet in position. The hearts you will minister to are still being softened. The connections that will carry the weight of your calling are still being formed. You think you are waiting for your time, but in truth, your time is waiting for you, and God will not let you arrive before the moment that is saturated with His favor, His covering, and His timing. This is why the delay is holy. It is the space where God keeps you from being spoiled by premature exposure. You might think, but I can handle it now. And perhaps you can, but can you hold it without losing yourself? Can you steward it without letting pride eat away at your purity? The wilderness is not God's rejection. It is His safe house. He keeps you there until your roots are deep enough that storms can't topple you. And when the release finally comes, it will not just be an opportunity. It will be an appointment. One where your spirit, your season, and your surroundings are all aligned in a way no human hand could have arranged. And then, without warning, the delay breaks. It doesn't start with a trumpet blast. It starts quietly. A phone call, a meeting. An open door that had been bolted shut for years suddenly swings wide, and you almost have to blink twice to believe it. It feels strange at first, almost unreal. You've been so used to walking through barren fields that the sight of green shoots feels foreign. You have to remind yourself, this is real. This is the shift you prayed for. This is the moment you carried in your heart while others said, it will never happen. When God moves, it is rarely in the way you expected, but it will always be in a way you cannot deny. Joseph woke up one morning still in a dungeon and went to bed that same night wearing Pharaoh's ring. Ruth went to glean in the fields like she had done every other day and returned engaged to the man whose field she was in. The disciples went fishing after a night of catching nothing and hauled in so many fish at dawn that their nets began to break. This is what it looks like when delay ends. God compresses years of waiting into a single day of fulfillment. And here is the mystery. The very delay that broke you trained you to hold this blessing without breaking again. You see, without the delay, you might have taken the gift for granted, but now, you know the cost. You know the nights you cried, the prayers you whispered when no one else was awake, the days you pushed forward with empty hands, but a full heart. So when the promise arrives, it's not just a blessing, it's a testimony, not just a new season, but a sacred chapter that could only have been written by God Himself. And when you tell the story later, you will not say, "I waited so long." You will say, "He came right on time." So, if you are in the delay right now, if the walls feel too high and the clock feels too loud, if you wake up wondering if the wait will ever end, hear this. Your story is not frozen. God has not misplaced your file in heaven. You are not behind schedule. You are on His schedule. The one who knit you together knows the rhythm your life must take. He sees what you cannot, and He is weaving threads you don't even know exist. People you haven't met yet. Opportunities you couldn't have planned. Lessons you couldn't have learned any other way. I know it's tempting to force it, to try to make it happen with your own strength, just to silence the ache of waiting. But remember, Ishmael came quickly. Isaac took time. One was born from human haste, the other from divine promise. Do not trade what's promised for what's premature. Your readiness is real, but so is His timing. And when those two meet, it will not just be a blessing, it will be a perfect fit. A door that opens without you having to kick it. A place where your soul says, "This is why I waited." Until then, hold steady. Keep showing up where He has placed you. Keep tending the ground even if no fruit is visible yet. And let your faith be louder than the ticking clock. Because one day soon, you will look back at this delay and see that it was not wasted time. It was preparation time. It was the season that made you deep enough to carry what's coming without losing yourself in the weight of it. And when it comes, you will know. This was worth every silent year, every unanswered prayer, every tear no one saw. Your waiting will not end in shame. Your delay will not end in loss. It will end in the goodness of God, full, overflowing, undeniable. If you are in the place of waiting right now, know this, you are not forgotten. Heaven is not ignoring you. Your prayers are not lost in the wind. God is holding your life in the hollow of His hand. Every delay is under His watch. Every closed door has His fingerprint on it. And when the day comes, not a day sooner, not a day later, you will see why He held you back. You will see that what He was building in you could not have been rushed. So do not despise this season. Do not curse the days that seem slow. Some of the greatest miracles are born in rooms where nothing seems to be moving. Trust Him, keep your heart steady, and let your hope rest, not in what you see, but in who He is, because the God who called you is faithful, and in His time, His perfect, beautiful time, you will step into what He has prepared. Do well to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already for more content like this.